been yes, hi everyone. So I'm Audrey. I've been working at Sengkang for about I think 7 to 8 years now. I'm also losing track of how many years already. And I've been supporting Limitless in the way of like giving talks, right? But this I think this is the third time I've given a talk for Limitless. I really enjoy working with this team of people. I think they're really amazing. A big heart for mental health and really helping people with mental health issues. So just to let you all know a bit more about myself, at Sengkang General Hospital, basically we see people from all walks of life, from many various reasons. Anything from having people going through stress, burnout, to other various types of mental health issues such as depression, anxiety. These are some of the most common ones. What else do we have? Like trauma, grief, maybe some personality disorders, and many various types. Actually, I would really go. I would say it spans a wide range because we are a general hospital. So there are many different types of people that we see, and we just really want to support everyone with their mental health needs. Any patients who get referred to us, lah. Yeah. So if you have any more questions about psychology along the way, you all can feel free to ask me later during the Q&A session. Today, I'm going to share more about healthy ways to manage emotions. So when Limitless asked me, okay, Audrey, what would you like to share about? They really gave me just open leeway, anything, what you like to share, just let us know. And I thought something that's really most relatable to us, everyone, is emotions because we are humans, we are not robots, right? So a lot of times when I talk to my patients, we end up talking about emotions. And I thought, okay, why not let's just do a talk about managing emotions. So that's why we decided to do this talk. Okay, just to share a little bit more about emotions, okay? Emotions really span a wide range. And if you just think back about your week, right, I'm pretty sure you would be able to identify quite a number of emotions that you have gone through. So let's just imagine last week there was the long weekend, right? There was Saturday, Sunday, and then there's Monday, Deepavali, right? I'm sure a lot of us were very happy about it, maybe feeling more relaxed that we don't have to go to school or to work. And I don't know what you did, but I know my friends went for a getaway in Malaysia. Some people went out to play, or some just at home. But the whole idea is that they felt happy and relaxed. And then by Tuesday, I could hear a lot of like, oh no, going back to work again. It's not Monday blues this time, it's Tuesday blues. So there's this like, oh, I really don't feel like going back. Like, there's so much lethargy. And then as people drag their feet at work, you can feel the like, oh no, like not so nice kind of emotions happening. And then if work piles up, I can imagine people get really stressed up. Sometimes they even bring the stress back home. And then over the week, okay, today's midweek already, right? Hopefully it's a bit of perk me up as you all attend this workshop together. And then I'm guessing by Friday, you'll be like, yes, TGIF, my mood is better now because there's the weekend again. So I went through this cycle because really all of us as humans would cycle through various types of emotions. And sometimes our emotions are like the clouds, they come and they go. And sometimes we feel like, oh no, I'm not really in control of my emotions, okay? So there are various components of emotions that I want to talk about. Three types. The first one is the subjective experience, how you are feeling it as a person, how you experience it. The second component is the physiology, so your body, how your body reacts or responds to this emotion. And finally, the third component will be your behavior. How do you then behave and respond when you have this emotion? Okay, I don't know if any of you have ever seen this before. It looks very complex, right? But basically, this is called the emotion wheel, okay? In fact, when I was Googling the emotion wheel, right, there were so many different types. I wasn't very sure which one to choose. I chose this one because I think it looks very vibrant, a bit easier to look at. But basically, if you look at the components, right, just go straight into the eye of this wheel, you see one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, about seven very basic emotions. In fact, actually, I would say in the olden days, they would just nail it down to six basic emotions, okay? So there's like happy, sad, disgusted, angry, surprised, fearful. I think the idea of bad wasn't really there last time in the past, but I think they added it in now. Then as you don't narrow your gaze so much, you just zoom outwards and you see all other emotions that they can come out from this almost like a palette of emotions, right? It's like how painter mix colors and you see different kinds of nuances. So over here, as you zoom out, you see, oh, there are so many other emotions I can feel as a person. I can feel lonely, I can feel vulnerable. I zoom out even more, I can feel abandoned, I can feel victimized. Okay, so these are some emotions. even deeper emotions. Or if you look at angry, you zoom out. Oh, things like I feel humiliated, or I felt disrespected, I felt ridiculed. Or if let's look at a bit of the happier emotions. So happy, and then if you zoom out, it'll be like playful, contented. Or zoom out even further, oh, I felt really joyful, I felt curious and inquisitive. So there are many types of emotions that all of us can feel. And I wonder if you were to look at this emotion wheel, were there one or two main emotions you could identify for yourself over the week? How did you feel over that week? Okay, so just to share with you, this is called the emotion wheel. Now, I want to debunk some myths that a lot of people would have about emotions. So the first myth is that people would believe emotions are either good or bad. So people will think, oh no, what I'm feeling right now is a bad thing, or what I'm feeling right now is a good thing, or I shouldn't be feeling this way, okay, or I should be feeling that way. Well, let me debunk that myth for you. The fact is that emotions are really neither good nor bad. There's no such thing as a bad emotion or a good emotion. Actually, emotions are very neutral in some ways. All they do is to provide us with cues and prepare us to respond for something ahead of us. So I give you an idea, okay? Some of my patients who see me will tell me, Audrey, I felt very, very bad for feeling jealous of my friend. My friend has very good parents. I feel so jealous of them. I wish that I had their parents. And I feel so bad about this because I feel like I'm letting down my own parents, whom I feel are not very good parents. So when we talk about this, I want to sound out to them that, hey, there's actually nothing wrong with feeling jealous. It's okay to feel jealous. It's okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel disappointed by your parents. But what stems out of that is maybe the way we respond. The way we respond is then very important, because if we respond in a very unhelpful way, it's not going to help us. Maybe that is not so helpful anymore. Okay, so I just want to point out to us that it's a myth. Emotions that emotions are either good or bad. Okay, in actual fact, they are neither good nor bad. It's a neutral thing. They just help us to provide us with cues and prepare us to respond. Another myth that a lot of my patients would have is that negative emotions are always unhelpful. So what would negative emotions look like? Things like feeling a bit down, feeling a bit sad, feeling angry, feeling disgusted. So people think I shouldn't feel this way. Well, the fact is, negative emotions can actually be helpful. When we feel something, it tells our body that we need to respond in a certain way. It's prompting our body to respond, and it can actually motivate us to make improvements in our lives. Let me give you an example. So let's say that I'm talking to you all right now, and suddenly my laptop dies on me. Hopefully it won't happen, but boom, gone. Oh my gosh, do you know how I'm gonna feel as a speaker? I'll feel utterly angry and disappointed with my laptop for letting down my participants right now, and I cannot continue the talk. Probably have to go and Zoom on my phone or something. But what will I do with this anger and this disappointment? Am I then going to bang my laptop, throw it away? Am I going to say I'm never going to give any more talks in my entire life because I failed and I just embarrassed myself? No, right? I'm not going to do that. Okay, what would be more helpful if I say, you know what? I think I need to go and buy a new laptop. Or you know what? I think I better prepare better for a talk and have a spare laptop along the way. Okay, sorry, there's a bit of background noise because my kids are outside are crying. Okay, so just to let you all know, negative emotions can be helpful. It spur us on to do something. All right, so that's a fact about negative emotions. Now, I want to share with us how emotions can be helpful for us. This is a little bit like what I just shared with us just now. So firstly, emotions can really motivate us to act. If I'm really happy about something, if I'm really excited about something, let's say a holiday, okay, I'm going to definitely act on it and plan my holiday well. I'm going to research on the place I'm going to and plan a really nice schedule for my holiday. Or like what I said just now, if I'm really angry about something, I'm very disappointed about something, maybe I tell myself, you know what, Audrey, just pick yourself up and do it again or try it again. So it can motivate us to act. Number two, it can really help us to avoid danger. If you are feeling uneasy, if you're feeling scared, if you feel disgusted, okay, maybe Let me give you a very, very lame one, okay? If I see a cockroach fly into the room, right, I'm going to be really disgusted and scared. I know it's not a really dangerous thing, but I think I'm just going to fly out of the room first, okay? And that will protect me from the cockroach flying to my face in some ways. Or let's put it in other terms. If you see a bear, if you see a snake, a dangerous crocodile or something, you feel scared. Of course, this fear will get you to run away and be safe from danger, okay? So that's how emotions can help us too. The third one, emotions can help us to make decisions. I say this with caution because I do know sometimes we react very emotionally and then we decide on a very emotional moment that may not be the best. But sometimes emotions can help us to make pretty good decisions too. For instance, if I walk by someone who really looks like she needs help, like let's say a little child crying and needs help, maybe she's lost. How will you feel as a person as you walk by this child? Most likely you'll feel a lot of compassion. Most likely you feel even empathy for this person. You feel like, oh dear, this poor child needs help. And that emotion will compel you to help this child go back to safety, find a mother or father, find somebody, go to the counter, get help. Okay, so emotions can help us to make decisions. Number four, emotions help others to understand us better. So imagine if all of us walk around like robots and nobody can tell your emotions at all. Do you think anyone can really relate to you? It's actually really tough, okay? So when we are able to express ourselves and show some emotions, even on our face, like we react with joy, like yeah, together, or we like, oh, we feel a bit sad or down. People can feel us, people can understand us better, and then maybe they can relate better to us. And that brings me to point number five, which is the vice versa of that, is that it will help us to understand other people. So if you see your friends, you see they're looking sad, looking down, maybe you'll feel more compassionate to want to help them. So all these emotions are actually really helpful for us. Okay, I enough talking on my end. I really want to get to know my participants a little bit better. I don't even know how old all of you are, so I had to guess, I had to guess like how old would my participants be and all that. But judging by two of your faces, pretty young, and then the rest I can't tell, but no worries. I just want to hear from y'all. I'm going to do a very simple poll, and Megan will help me with this. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest, right? I'm just curious, how have you been feeling over the past 1 week? So 1 lowest means really low mood. 10 highest means really high mood, like you feel really good by yourself. Can you just help me do this poll together so I can get a rough gauge of where your emotions are over the last 1 week? So 3 responses so far. How about the rest? 4 out of 8. 6 out of 8. Wow, so far I see a pretty wide range. I'm seeing a range from 3 to 8. Okay, I'm guessing the rest may not have time to do this poll, so no worries. We will end with 6 out of 8, okay? Thank you, Megan. So y'all can see the results. If we just share the results, yeah. Y'all can see that this is really a closed group setting, so don't worry. And it's all anonymous. I won't know who voted what. But just to get an idea, even in this small little cozy group, right, all of us already have a wide range of emotions between 3 to 8. So I'm guessing those who put between 3, 4 may not be feeling so good this week or in the past 1 week. And then there's some who are a bit neutral, it's been quite okay, and there's some who are feeling pretty good about themselves. Thank you for doing this poll. I'm going to ask you another question just to get to know you a bit better also, okay? On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest again, 10 being the highest, how stressed up have you been over the past 1 week? I deliberately use the word stressed up because I just want to know the level of stress that all of us are going through right now. So help me do this poll. Wow, I am not surprised, when I was doing this, I was thinking, I'm pretty sure a lot of people will say they're quite stressed out. So let's just see. Okay, we've got 5 out of 8 responses so far, 6 out of 8 responses. Thanks to everyone who have responded. Okay. Okay, so I think we'll end with 6 out of 8. We'll share the results. Okay, so again, I see a wide range. How I wish that someone would put down 1, 2, or 3, right? Thank you for being honest, okay? Because it seems like our stress levels can be pretty high. There are some who are quite all right. 4, 5, and 6 is quite all right. But we do have some who are pretty high in the stress levels, 8, 9, and even 10. actually, I must say that my stress level have been fluctuating too. On some days, I'm really stressed out. On some days, I feel really relaxed. Thanks everyone for sharing with us. At least we know in this cozy group that our stress levels also span a wide range. Okay, I'll just we can stop sharing this. So I would just like to share with all of us, okay, that there really are many types of stresses that all of us can face. Let me just try to close the poll on my end, so that I can see my own slides. Okay, hold on. Okay, never mind. There are some stresses that all of us face as individuals, and I've put out a few main ones. I don't even think it covers everything, but it's a broad range, all right? Now, the first one is family. So a lot of us do have stresses within family. When I talk to my patients, some patients do have pretty intact families. They feel all right with their families. But there are some patients who come from difficult backgrounds. Maybe their father and mother were abusive, maybe not even that severe abusive, but more of like father and mother were not really present for them, or they felt like the siblings don't understand them. So family itself can be rather stressful for my patients. Another form of stress could be finances. So in terms of finances, right, some of the patients that I see, they are really rather poor in their finances. They're so limited, so constrained. They have to scream and save. Thankfully, they don't have to pay for my appointments, like it's paid by the government. But otherwise, everything else is so expensive for them. Like even just traveling by bus, they have to think twice or thrice. So this can be a very big stressor in itself. Okay, I think I'm having difficulty removing my poll. So what I may have to do is, Megan, can you help me see what's the third component right in the middle? What did I put there? Is it health?
Health.
Health, yeah, okay. So health is another component that is really stressful for some of my patients. I don't know whether any of you are going through health issues yourself, but a number of my patients that I see, they don't just have psychological issues, they also have like really like physical medical health issues, and it's really very trying for them. I have patients who are going through pain in their body, constantly in pain. I have patients who have gone through different things like chronic illnesses, like maybe cancer, and it's really very worrying for them. They don't just worry about their own health, they then worry about the safety of their own family members, because they'll tell me, Audrey, if I die, if I pass away, who is going to look after my children? So these are very big concerns. Okay, the next one that I wrote down, again, I don't know whether it's hidden by my poll. Is it relationships or is it something else?
Life transitions. Then after that, it's relationships.
Yes, life transitions. I had to put that down, right? Because it's a really big one. A number of my patients see me and they tell me, Audrey, I don't know why I'm seeing you because I'm not crazy, but I'm going through a major life transition. And I told them that's the main reason why you're seeing me. I don't see patients who are crazy in that way. I see patients who are going through life transitions and they find it really hard to cope. So this is one big thing. When my patients go through NS, for instance, guys who go through NS, that's a really big one for guys. Patients who transit from secondary school to the next school, either poly or JC or ITE, that's stressful for them. Or then after that, they go to university, or then they go to work. All that is really stressful for them. Other life transitions with things like parenthood, or marriage first and then parenthood. All that is really stressful for my patients, and because of the stress levels, it can lead to certain unhealthy emotions that can come up. Okay, other things will be things like relationships. So I have patients who tell me that they have boyfriend girlfriend issues, they have certain other issues, LGBT issues that they feel really difficult to manage, or they have friendship issues as well. All this can be very stressful for them. And finally, work and studies. I think this one, every one of us can probably identify. If you're a student, you will feel stressed out in school. If you're working, you will feel stressed out at work. Okay, I'm really not surprised, especially in a stressful environment here in Singapore, right? So these are some major stresses that all of us can go through. Okay, the first thing I would want to share with all of us in terms of ways to cope with our stress is to, number one, recognize the warning signs of emotional stress. Okay, emotional distress. I don't know if any of you all have ever heard of this before. So the reason why I put out the word distress is because I just mentioned, right, that our emotions can be really healthy and they can be very helpful. Even the negative emotions can be helpful, but sometimes it can come to a point where our emotions are no longer very helpful, and this is what we may need to start recognizing that. Okay, I am trying to remove this poll so I can see my slides. But never mind, if I really can't remove this, right, I'll just rope in Megan to help me, okay? Sorry, Megan, the poll is stuck right in the middle of my slide. Somehow I just can't remove it for some strange reason. Okay, no worries. Now, warning signs of distress, I would like to let us know that these are some signs and symptoms you can already start looking out for, okay? I've broken them down into three different components. I put that as mood, and then there's body in the middle, and then there's behaviors. Okay, so in terms of mood, there are certain things like anger, irritability. If you're feeling angry, you're feeling irritable more easily. If you feel depressed, now this mood is strong. It's like a stronger feeling than just a simple sadness kind of thing. It's a very chronic feeling, a constant feeling of sadness for over a period of 2 weeks, okay, more or less, more on most days. Feeling guilty, feeling really helpless, hopeless, and overwhelmed by your emotions. Maybe this is something that you really need to start identifying already. Okay, in terms of the body symptoms, Megan, can you help me read off the list?
Sure. Appetite changes, breathing difficulties, fatigue, headaches, muscle tension, stomach aches.
Yes, thank you. Actually, right, there are more bodily symptoms I could have put down, but I decided to just put the common ones that my patients will go through. So if you just look at the body symptoms, you may think, I think it's a medical problem. A lot of my patients come to me and say, Audrey, I don't know why I'm seeing you. It's a medical problem. It's stomach ache, it's headache, it's migraine. I don't know what is that, but it's not psychological. But when I trace back the roots of it and I find the triggers for it, it turned out to be some form of stress. Okay, so just take note that these bodily symptoms can mimic medical symptoms, but they may not always be medical symptoms. We also have behavioral issues. This would look like angry outbursts, all right? Difficulties concentrating, drug or alcohol misuse, social withdrawal. This is a big one. So my patients would tell me, I don't know why I felt so down and out. I decided not to talk to anybody. And it actually became a very vicious cycle. And more severe cases, it can lead to self-harm and suicidal ideations. Now, this is a really big warning flag already. So if my patients have any self-harm, suicidal ideations, this is something of concern. I'll already start working with them on managing some of this. Okay. So one of my the things that I really want to advocate is please pay attention to the seemingly minor symptoms. Please do not wait until they become major ones. Why do I say that? A lot of people will brush it off and tell me it's okay, never mind, it's just something small, so don't need to bother about it. But what happens is then it snowballs, it accumulates, and then it builds up to the point when something small just triggers and they feel like they break. And then finally, when they break, then my patients come and see me and tell me, I don't know what's wrong with me. Something very small happened. And then I just felt like I snapped, I broke. I don't know what's wrong. And I told them it's because it is snowballed. It's been an accumulation of stress. So really, do not wait until the symptoms become too major. If you notice the symptoms are already starting to build up, pay attention to it and seek some form of support. Either peer support, family support, social support, or you can seek professional support, okay? Okay. So the second thing that I wrote down, which I cannot read now, what did I write down? What did I write there?
Reappraise your situation.
Yes. Notice it's all R's, okay? So I gave us 3 R's. So the second thing is to reappraise your situation. It's a big word, but basically it's just to rethink or to have a new way of thinking, a different way of thinking. Okay, if I want to show you this diagram here. If you look on your, I don't know whether it's your leftmost, but it's my leftmost, the thoughts segment is a lot of times what happens for us is our thoughts. It starts off with our thoughts. And thoughts can affect our feelings. From feelings, it can lead to certain bodily reactions. And from bodily reactions, it can then lead to certain behaviors that we will display. Okay, so let me give you an example here. Let's just say that there is this person, James. Actually, this is a real example. This is really what one of my student patients went through. And so this student told me, I'm really not good enough in what I do. I'm so afraid I will fail. And this student, he's a really bright boy. He's really bright. I was surprised to hear him say that, but I realized he had very strong core beliefs that he's not good enough and he will surely fail. That's what he believed. Because he kept ruminating on all these thoughts, then he was very down, anxious, worried, and guilty. So this poor student of mine, he was so worried. he got so bogged down. He was so bogged down by his feelings. He started to experience all these bodily reactions, like he felt fatigued. He couldn't really bring himself to do anything. He was so tired, so lethargic. He felt so dizzy, and he had all the stomach aches going on in his body. And because of that, unfortunately, it led to a vicious cycle where he avoided his friends altogether. And this student that I've been working with, right, he's a really, really friendly boy. Like when I see him, I just find that he's such a nice, friendly chap. But because of the anxiety that he was going through, he avoided a lot of his friends. He even went off contact for a long time, for about 1+ months. He went off contact, so nobody could contact him, via WhatsApp. It was very scary for his friends, actually. He was also unable to concentrate on his studies, and he procrastinated a lot. When the exams were coming up, he was procrastinating on studies. So what happened was that he really, really didn't do very well. And notice how that led into a vicious cycle. When he didn't do well, all the more it confirmed his belief. He told me, therefore, Audrey, I am really not good enough. So I just want all of us to realize, take note that a cycle like this can happen, and I call it a vicious cycle of anxiety or depression. If you all want to find out more about this kind of cycle, right, it's actually a cognitive behavioral cycle. Okay, so in terms of reappraising your situation, right, I think what's really important is that we take note of the way we think at the start, because you notice that if your thinking changes, or you just make small little changes to the way you think, right, you'll notice that your feelings may get better, the bodily reactions may improve, and your behaviors may get better too. So let me show you an example here, okay? What kind of thoughts do you usually think? The above thoughts, right, are thoughts that are not helpful thoughts, and the thoughts below are thoughts that are really more helpful. Okay, here I'll need Megan to help me again because I can't see the middle slides. But okay, there are some thoughts above which is really unhelpful. The first one says judgment. Okay, and one of the judgmental things that a lot of my patients would tell me was, that was so stupid of me, Audrey, why did I do that? Okay, that's a judgmental thought. Okay, Megan, what's right in the middle?
Impatience.
Can you read that out?
Too slow at this.
Yeah. So I have patients who will tell me, I'm too slow. I'm just so slow. Everyone else is faster than me, and they compare themselves with peers. Thanks for reading that, Megan. And then there's another really big unhelpful thought, which is criticisms. I messed up again. I noticed that a lot of my patients, actually including myself, we tend to have critical thoughts in our mind, and we tend to be our biggest critics. Like we'll just critique and scold ourselves for doing wrong things or bad things or silly things. Okay, so that's the critic in us. Now, I would prefer that all of us try to adopt more helpful thinking methods, which is at the bottom. So the first one would be encouraging thoughts. Things like, I believe I can do it again. Okay, how about the middle one, Megan? What does it say?
Empathy. Oh, that's hard.
Yeah. So literally empathize, with yourself. Sometimes we can empathize with our friends, but we can't empathize with ourselves. So literally empathizing with yourself and just assuring yourself that, yeah, that was hard, but maybe I can try again. And also giving yourself words of comfort. You know what? We all make mistakes sometimes. It's okay that I failed this time around. It's okay that I make mistakes, okay? So the next time you all ever go through a situation that's tough, I really want to encourage us to be aware. What kind of thoughts are you thinking of? Are you thinking of thoughts that are really unhelpful, like the judgmental one, the impatient one, the critical one? Or are you thinking of thoughts that are encouraging, that are empathic and comforting? Let's try to do the lower portion, okay? The more helpful thinking style. Okay, I have a perceptions exercise here. So this again relates to our thinking. Megan, can I get your help to read these perceptions?
Okay. You were having a meal at a hawker center. You chanced upon friend A and gave a wave. Friend A walked past without smiling or saying hello. What thoughts will you have and what emotions will you have?
Okay, here is where I do want some audience participation. I don't know whether you all are very shy to unmute your mics and talk. So I give you all two options, okay? You all can either type in the chat to let us know how you would feel and what you would think. Please go with your very first thought in your mind. Or if you are brave enough, go ahead, unmute your mics and talk to us. We are very friendly people, don't worry. So yeah, go ahead and share with this group. What do you think? You can either write in your chat or you can unmute your mics and speak to us. Okay, thank you. Okay, some thoughts from AT. Did I do something wrong? Yeah, immediately. Like, oh no, it's about me. I did something wrong, right? Okay, what else? Shannon said, a thought, friend A doesn't like me, he is so rude, right? Yes. And then you will feel discouraged. I'm not surprised. I think I'll probably think the same way too. What else did AT say? Okay, emotions, you'll then feel confused and annoyed. Yeah. Gracia, thank you, Gracia, for also participating. You also feel confused and puzzled. Just curious, any other thoughts that will come to your mind for the rest? Any other thoughts? Nothing else already? Megan, what kind of thoughts will come to your mind?
Um, this happened to me recently and
Really?
I fell for it.
What happened?
I tried to say hi to somebody and then they rolled their eyes at me. So it was a bit like one step higher. But I don't know whether they intentionally rolled their eyes or it just looked that way. But I was definitely taken aback. And then I felt very affected by it. And then I was like, I just want to get out of here.
Oh yeah.
In my very dramatic way, I just want to get out of here. But
Okay,
I,
but
I
that,
slightly hurt, felt slightly hurt.
yeah, definitely. And I think that was very difficult because the person rolled eyes at you. So oh no. Thanks for sharing, Megan. It does happen to the best of us. And okay, thank you also to First Legacy for responding. Thoughts, did my friend not see me? Okay, at least this was a like, did he not see me? And the emotions we were very embarrassed because I raised my hand awkwardly. Yeah, I would feel that too, right? Thanks everyone for responding. Okay, I purposely chose a scenario that is really vague. This Megan's one was like got roll eyes part, so that one a bit like that one's really hurtful. But this one very vague, you know. Friend A just walked away, didn't say anything, didn't do anything, and it's really really grey. But notice how our thoughts immediately get drawn to something is wrong with me, and the person don't like me, and or maybe the my friend did not see me lah, so very embarrassed. And notice that the emotions tends to be a bit more of the negative ones. Okay, like confused, annoyed, irritated, puzzled. Why? Right? Thank you everyone for sharing with us. I just wanted to let us know and bring it out to us that this is a very real. This is a very real thing that can happen to any one of us and the best of us. Sometimes we can really feel like people are ignoring us when actually it could be that this friend was too preoccupied thinking about something that happened the day and just walked by without realizing. So it happened to me too. Somebody didn't wave at me. I thought, alamak, this person so unfriendly, or maybe I small fry lah. She don't care about me. But later on, she actually came back and apologized to me. You know, she said, "I'm so sorry. I missed you when you were at the road just now. I was too preoccupied thinking about something." So that really clarified for me. So you know what you can do actually. I want to take it one step further. If this ever happens to you, why not clarify it? Why not just send that friend a text and say, "Hey, I saw you at where and where so just now. But I think you didn't get to see me. Hope you're doing okay." Maybe just something simple would be nice. Okay, so you can go ahead and clarify that. Okay, let's see. Perceptions number 2. This is a second exercise. Megan, can I get your heart to read this again?
You arrive late for an important meeting. You noticed a few peers whispering among themselves and giggling. What thoughts will you have and what emotions will you have?
Okay, so everyone help me with this again. Either you unmute your mics or you can go ahead and chat. Let us know what will you think. Oh, first Legaspi, thank you for sharing. Also, maybe the friend didn't recognize us with a mask on. Ah, that's true, that's true. We all look different with our mask on. Okay, so for this perception exercise too, what will you think? Okay, Gracia says thoughts. Was there a joke shared? Okay. This is a little bit more neutral, like maybe there was a joke being shared. Then how will you feel then, Gracia? Emotions, curious. Yeah, okay. So this one's a little bit more neutral, like, yeah, I don't know, maybe there's a joke being shared and I felt curious about it. How about the rest? Any other thoughts you have? Maybe this may have even happened to you before. AT says, thoughts. Oh no! Is my fly down? Emotions annoyed. Oh no, quickly go and check. Okay, Shannon, thoughts. They are judging, gossiping about me. Yeah, I think a lot of us would think that way. I am terrible. I cannot stand being late. Oh no, it's a pet peeve. Yeah. Okay, you don't want to be late, right? You prefer to be early or on time, right? And you'll feel angry about it. Thanks for sharing, Shannon. Okay, first, the Gatsby thoughts. Were they talking about me? And emotions would be ashamed. Okay, so maybe you notice that all the thoughts about, is it about me? I think only one of us had a, or maybe there was a joke shared, right? And again, it points back to us and the critical voice in our head, and that, I don't know, it's really very not comforting at all. It's like they're judging me, they're gossiping about me, oh, I'm so terrible. And of course, you feel terrible about it. Again, notice that this scenario I chose was deliberately very gray. People can be laughing whether or not you step into the meeting, right? You just so happen to step into the meeting. All right. So notice that it's really gray, but our thoughts immediately went to something that's really not so comforting for us. So now my challenge to all of us is take it one step further. If this happens to you, can you then go to that group of friends and daringly ask, hey, what happened? Okay? Or got joke, share with me lah. Okay, or at least clarify. Okay, if you're a bit shy, maybe you can go and ask one friend later, hey, what happened just now? Why were they laughing? Okay? At least clarify it. Otherwise, I think if you're gonna go back home thinking they're judging me, gossiping me, maybe you cannot sleep lah. You know what I mean? So let's help ourselves here. You can go ahead and clarify, okay? Otherwise, if you're really very shy and very scared, how about this? You just tell yourself, it's okay. Audrey have shared this kind of scenario before, and she say, think comforting thoughts. Maybe they're just laughing among themselves over some funny joke. Okay, it's not about me. Full stop. Okay, so you can just try to have different ways of thinking. So that was the second R, which is to reappraise your situation. The third R is to refuel your tank. I deliberately use the word tank, which some of my patients be like, what tank, what tank? Because I really think that all of us as humans have an emotional and like a mental tank. Okay, let me give you an example. You know how when people drive cars, they need to fill their petrol tank, right? And the petrol tank must be full in order to drive, right? For us, right, or not full, but at least got something inside lah. For all of us, right, we also have an emotional tank, and this tank must be filled up. What happens if our emotional tank runs dry? We are running on empty. We cannot do anything much at all. You want to empathize with your friend, you also cannot empathize because you're running on empty, on low. You want to spend more time with quality time with your loved ones. You want to be able to just be there for your friends. You want to be able to just enjoy some time to yourself and all that. You may find that you are just running low. You want to be able to study, do work, cannot, just running low on your tank. So remember to refill your emotional tank. Now, some of the things I would like us to try right now, this is a really a simple exercise for all of us. If you can, maybe just type out in your phone, okay? Write down 10 things you typically do on a weekday. Very, very simple, standard ones. Okay, just a quick exercise for all of us right now. If you can do this together, 10 things that you typically do on a weekday. So either if you're at work or if you're in school. For me, it will look something like this. Number one, wake up, brush teeth, eat breakfast, okay? Maybe number two, rush off to the MRT. And when I rush off the MRT, it's really like, wow, chonging, because always late, right? Number three, I don't know, just quickly get to my desk, sit down, check my schedule. So that's me, okay? So list down 1 to 10, what things are on your typical day-to-day basis, what you have to do, all the way to nighttime. Now, after you have listed out all these 10 things, I want you to label each one of them. D for depleting, which means it depletes you of your energy. Or N for nourishing, which means that it energizes you. It makes you feel good. You feel energetic after this. So I'm going to give all of us some time to fill this up. And after you're done, right, I would like you all to actually count the number of Ds and the number of Ns. So go ahead and do this. In fact, I would have taken this one step further, but I don't have so much time today. I didn't want to take up too much time doing this exercise. So as you are doing this right now, I'm trusting you're doing this. I'll carry on talking so it won't be so quiet, okay? I would have taken it one step further and say, you then compare it to a list of things you do on the weekends. Because weekends, sometimes people feel a bit more stress-free, okay? Okay, so go ahead, guys. Write down 10 things you typically do and label it D or N. And after you're done so, right, I want us to be able to share how many nourishing activities do you have and how many depleting activities do you have on a typical weekday. So go ahead and do this exercise, and once you're done, right, roughly aggregation, you roughly know how many D's, how many N's. Go ahead, you all just share in the chat group, okay, the number of D's and the number of N's. Don't need to share the specific details. I had one participant who was really very cute, and the participant shared every single thing that he would do in a typical day. He was very open to share, but you all don't have to do that. it's very personal, so don't worry about that. Just go ahead, count the number of D's and N's you have, and you all can share with us here. Megan, you also can go ahead and share for yourself the number of D's and N's. I've done this multiple times already. Mine is usually pretty balanced lah. Usually about 5 5 on good days. Wow, yeah, it'll be like 6 4. On really not good days, everything is like a D. Yeah. Even eating breakfast becomes a D. Like just before. That's all. I actually just give you a little bit of a insight, like inside stuff about myself, right? Sometimes I'm just rushing to see my patients, right? And I see them back to back. So just before that, I'm like just gobbling food, like, just pop food in my mouth. I'm not even enjoying my breakfast, and then quickly, okay, finish ready, finish ready. Okay, now time to see my patient. Then I see them back to back. Then by then my stomach growling already, by lunchtime. So actually, even eating breakfast, which is meant to be nourishing for me, becomes very not nourishing. So I just let you all know lah. Okay, once you all are done, I would love to see some responses from you all. So can you all just roughly share with us? Okay, thank you, AT. Number of Ds. Oh, so that's quite a fair bit of depleting activities, 7, and the number of nourishing ones will be 3. Thank you for sharing with us honestly, AT. How about the rest? How do you all feel your typical day would look like? Anyone else? So while waiting, right, I would like to encourage all of us, as you all have done this already, like AT, you have completed it, right? I want to challenge you to consider if there's going to be so many D's in your day, right? Actually, your day is going to look rather stressful. Can you consider changing one D to an N? So I give you an example of the breakfast thing that I've been rushing through, right? If I really do have time, sometimes I tell myself seriously, just sit down and enjoy your meal. And when I enjoy it, I feel so much better. So if I can change that breakfast thing into an N, I would do so. And that would really help my day a lot more. So AT, you can try to consider how you can change a D to an N, okay? Gracia, thank you for sharing. So D5 N5 rather balance. Again, challenge you to consider how you can change one D to an N. Shannon, depleting 4, nourishing 6. Wow, you are surprised. You thought you would have more D activities. That is really good, Shannon. So keep it up. In fact, continue to try to make the depleting ones nourishing as well. But I'll be real with us, okay? We are all humans. Some activities will really indeed be depleting, and it's okay. Thanks for sharing, Shannon and Gratian AT. Anyone else? Okay, if the rest don't want to share, it's also fine. Don't worry. I know it can be a little bit confronting and a little bit some people feel very embarrassed to want to share directly. So no worries. Okay. So yeah, you all know my challenge for you all, okay? Now that you all know the number of D's and N's, try to change a D to an N, okay? Now, I want to end off with this self-care portion. So in terms of refilling our tank, we also really need to care for ourselves. And I use the acronyms CARE. Hopefully you all can remember this. C for connect. Connecting with people is very important. Remember just now how I shared that sometimes when we are down and out, we actually withdraw from people, and that can become very unhelpful because the moment we withdraw from people, we become very lonely and isolated. So that really leads to a vicious cycle. I would rather encourage all of us to connect with our family, our friends, our colleagues. If you have interest groups, go ahead and join an interest group. So some of my patients tell me they don't really have a work group to connect with, or they don't have family or friends to connect with. Then I'll encourage them, go find an interest group in the community center, and maybe you can make friends there. Or if you have a religious group, also good, go ahead, join that religious group so that you can make some friends and have some like-minded friends also. A for accept. Really, really, please accept yourself for who you are as a person. Accept your strengths and your flaws. You're not superwoman or superman, okay? You're not a superhero. You're a human with strengths and flaws. So accept that and really make room for thoughts and feelings that come along your way. I don't know whether you all remember what I said just now, but our thoughts and feelings can come like the clouds in the sky. On some days, it can be like gray clouds in the sky. We feel really bad. On some days, it can be lovely, white, fluffy clouds in the sky. We feel really good about ourselves. Make room for that. Imagine if we don't make room for any gray clouds in the sky. What will happen? It won't rain and our plants will die and then we have no food to eat. Okay, it's as drastic as that. So for ourselves as humans, if we can make room for gray clouds in the sky, can we then make room for gray thoughts and feelings and horrible feelings even in our body, and know that it will come and go and we can accept that. Okay. R for recharge. Do recharge yourself in terms of your physical body. So exercising is very important. I'm saying this as a reminder to myself, busy person who have no time to exercise. Even simple exercises at your desk, 5 minutes is better than nothing. Healthy meals is very important, and getting adequate sleep is important too. If you are not getting enough sleep, you may wake up grumpy the next day, and then the whole vicious cycle happens. Okay. Finally, E for enjoy. Really enjoy the hobbies that you have and enjoy the fun activities that you have. In fact, I'll challenge you to start scheduling them. Don't wait for these hobbies or fun activities to drop from the sky and happen. You plan for it. So, for my patients who sometimes go through this depression and they withdraw and they don't do anything to nourish themselves, I actually draw up a schedule for them. And we look at their day from Monday to Friday or Saturday and Sunday, and then we just see what activities have you put down in that day. Actually nothing. It's social isolation all the way. So I'll tell them, can I challenge you to put down one activity that you will really enjoy? Don't be surprised. It could even be things like, one patient told me, putting on a face mask for myself. I enjoy that. I feel good. Okay, then you go ahead and put on the face mask. For some people, go out and play soccer, go play sports, play frisbee. Go ahead, go do it. For some others, do my arts and craft, play piano, play guitar. Okay, then go ahead and do it. Anything that you enjoy, planting, creative works, go ahead and do it. As long as you schedule that in, you may find that week will look a little bit better because you've scheduled down some lovely activities for yourself. Okay, so that's self-care for us, and I'll end off with that. Just to recap the 3 points. So number one, recognize the warning signs of emotional distress. Don't wait until it becomes major. Number two, reappraise your situation. A lot of situations are very gray. Can you think in more compassionate and caring and comforting ways? And number three, refill your tank. Okay, make sure you don't go on empty. At least fill up to a little bit. Yeah, that's all. Thanks, everyone.